Hello everybody and welcome to Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. We are here for Tottenham versus RB Leipzig in the Champions League. I hope you're doing very well. Looking forward to this game actually from a Timo Werner point of view, who may well actually I think will end up going to Liverpool, but could come to Manchester United, so there is an interest in there. But also I just like him as a footballer. And then from the Champions League, it's a Champions League game at the end of the night. And also from the race for top four, how is Jose Mourinho going to restructure this Spurs side now that they've lost Son and Harry Kane for the season? So let's have a look at the Spurs lineup for today to start off with. Lloris in goal, Aurier, Alderweireld, Davinson Sanchez and Ben Davies, Harry Winks, Fernandes, Lo Celso, Dele Alli, Bergwijn and Lucas Moura. And just for a moment, what I would say about that is, just for a moment, let's pretend that... well, I can't remember what I was going to say. Let's pretend that Harry Kane and Son don't play for Spurs. And if you looked at that Spurs team with Lucas Moura and Bergwijn as the attacking force, you'd say that's actually quite exciting. The problem that Spurs have, and I think we all know this, is when you go to the bench, you've got Vertonghen, Lamela, Dyer, Gazzaniga, Ndombele, and that's fine. But then they've got Skip and Tanganga. They've got no real attacking options, and I think that, for someone like Jose Mourinho, is a real problem. In relation to RB Leipzig, Forsberg doesn't even start for them, which shows you the sort of level of quality that they've got at the moment. They're going for a Bundesliga, so they're going to be very interesting to watch. Watch out for number 11 anyway. Werner, very good player. And Nkunku, a good player as well. I don't think Upamecano's playing, and I don't quite know why. I don't know whether he's got an injury, if somebody knows anything about that. But I don't know what the situation is with Upamecano, because he normally does play, but doesn't appear to be playing tonight for some reason. Spurs better get the lube ready, says Bruce Lee. Well, you know what? I sort of think, and I don't know what Spurs fans would think about this, I sort of think that if Spurs were to go out of this tournament, would it be a big thing? Upamecano is actually suspended, so thank you to Archie and Bits and Anarid for telling me about that. So that's good to know. But I think there's two things about Spurs tonight that are interesting. One, can they play well without Son and Harry Kane? And Harry Kane's been gone for a while, but he's a big part of their team, of course. And two, does it actually matter if they go out? Well, I just don't think, when you can only play Bergwijn and Moura up front, that's conducive to a two-pronged attack in the Champions League and in the Premier League. But I think I'm interested to watch Gedson Fernandes for them as well. I mean, it's interesting that Jose Mourinho has brought Gedson Fernandes in on a 2-year loan, effectively a new signing, and Ndombele can't get in the team. So it's going to be interesting. I think if I was manager of Spurs, which I'm not, if I was manager of Spurs, Harry Kane and Son being out wouldn't be a bad thing, because I think, well, I've got Bergwijn, I've got Lamela, I've got Sessegnon, I've got Lucas Moura. They're all flair players. I can use them as attackers if needs be. I just can't hit many long balls. But Jose, is he that sort of a manager? We'll have to just wait and see. But keep your eye out for number 11, Timo Werner on the RB Leipzig side. And I'm very excited to watch this game. I think as a football match, and that's what we are on That's Football, as a football match, it's an interesting game to sit and watch. And that's what we'll be doing. How's your day been, says Kian Does Football? Good. I've had a good day, actually. Yeah, good day. It's half term at the moment, so I've had most of the morning just playing around with Seb, doing robots and... all sorts, shopping games and things like that, but this is it. Have you seen the City game? There's about 4 fans at the Empty-Had, says Cammy H. Well, of course, yeah, Man City are playing West Ham tonight, aren't they? Not even City fans are interested in that. Can't wait to be back in the Champions League, says KT. And Werner is filthy, says Bits in it. Yes, please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. Evening to Lee Newman. Remember, we do... I don't know whether we've got any members here tonight, but we do now have the members club open on That's Football. So you can become a member on That's Football. You get your little badge next to your name when you're doing your comments. Do you prefer Son Heung-min or Park Ji-sung, says the Kraken. That was a bit of a mouthful for me. Look, Ji-sung Park was a fantastic player for Manchester United, and I had the good fortune to play against Ji-sung Park at Old Trafford last May. He was on the opposition team to me, and I was playing with Flex and Spencer FC and a few other people, and we had Ji-sung Park and Wes Brown were the two legends on the team opposite, and the ball came to me. I was stood on the edge of the box at Stretford, in front of the Stretford end. I look around, there's no one there. I'm shouting for it. The ball's coming towards me. I'm waiting for it to come to just hopefully blast it on target and score a dream goal. And Ji-sung Park just appears from nowhere and snatches it and runs away. But he was a good player for Manchester United, but I like Son. I call him the Poundland Ronaldo, and I think being a Poundland Ronaldo still makes you one of the best players in the world. So a very, very good player, Son, and I do rate him. Mustafa, not everyone will know that story, you rude person. So if you carry on with that sort of attitude, you'll be booted out. Anyway, we're off. We're up and running, and going to be interesting. I really am interested in this race for top four in the Premier League now, because it obviously impacts with, Manchester United. So I'm interested to see what Spurs are all about. And straight away, there's a shot there for Schick, not shit. Schick on the edge of the box from Bayer Leverkusen. Not really that good from Spurs. Quite weak defending from Alderweireld. He sort of put his hands up like to go, oh, don't. He should have just gone through him, really, like a laxative. What takeaway do I get tonight, Mark? Thanks, pal, says Joe Woodward. I don't know. If I was having a takeaway tonight, I think I would be looking at, I don't know, because I've got a bit of a cold. I feel like comfort food. That should be 1-0. It should be 1-0 again. I think Timo Werner has a shot. Lloris saves with his feet, and then a follow-up shot again. They're all over them at the moment like a rash, and they're into the box again. Werner, Lloris again. Bloody hell. It might have been offside anyway, but they are all over them. Have you seen Saeed's latest podcast on United Central? Worth a watch, in my opinion, for sure. Lots of interesting financial stuff, says Mikel Sauter. And Spurs are on the ropes. You're absolutely right here. Some shock. How's that not gone in, says Adam Leahy from Werner. But they're being carved open like a Christmas turkey here, Spurs. It's a very, very bad start, which is why I feel that Manchester United are favourites for top four. Because if Chelsea don't sort themselves out, I just don't think Spurs are that good at the moment. But RB Leipzig will be, or Leipzig, I can never pronounce it correctly, but they will be. And do keep an eye on number 11, Timo Werner. That's mainly why I'm watching this match tonight. Well, I would have watched it anyway. It's going to be a long 90 minutes, says Bobby Schmurder. Yeah, Spurs definitely need to settle quickly in this game, because they're not. They're on the ropes already. I just don't think Spurs are gonna go through. They need to take a lead to Germany, and I just don't think that they will. Julian Nagelsmann. A lot of United fans would like him to be the manager. I mean, he looks younger than me. He probably is younger than me, isn't he? I think he is in his mid-30s, so he will be younger than me. But Nagelsmann's a very good coach. There's no doubt about that. But I just find him very irritating. And you should never judge a book by the cover. But his face just irritates me. I get a lot of people telling me this thing, so why can't I give it out? A lot of people say your face just irritates me. Well, Nagelsmann's face irritates me. There you go. Mourinho thinks United will not get top four, so he got hot karma by Son injured, says Elam Gonzalez. Well, I haven't heard Mourinho say that, but he's 32, Nagelsmann. Yeah. He's too young. Too young. I'm only joking. Age, that would be ageist, and I'm not that. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke, says Jeff Peps. Yeah, I heard about that. I mean, I don't know a lot about what's happened other than he got murdered. Another one. It's 2020. Well, it's not even 2020, is it? A lot of this is happening with these youths. I don't look like Nagelsmann, Viniak. I don't. Everyone says, you look like this, you look like that. I don't look like Nagelsmann. Spurs on the attack here anyway. Here's Bergwijn. Terrible pass. I just don't think Spurs are going to have a very good end to the season. I really don't. I might be wrong. Where is Twan CB, says Anas123. Well, he ain't going to be here, is he? Because he don't play for Leipzig and he don't play for Spurs. I tell you what, I agree with you here, Maestro. Werner would look nice in a Manchester United jersey. If anyone, well, a lot of you probably do watch my FIFA career modes, and I haven't done it on this one, but I normally always buy Timo Werner. He's got such a good shot on him, he's got pace, and he can play anywhere amongst the front three, but really, you just play him as a striker. I mean, here he is at the moment, he's playing on the right-hand side at the moment, but I just think Werner, I know Liverpool fans are getting excited about Werner, but I actually think he'll go to Bayern Munich, because that just tends to be what happens. But here they are on the attack again. Werner, don't let him shoot. Good block. But they're a good team, aren't they? They're a good team, Leipzig. And they've played very well already. Thoughts on Chelsea, says Jacob07. Look, I don't have time to look at Chelsea, really. I'm United fan. I watched Chelsea Spurs on Saturday. That we'll be doing that as our next watch-along on here. And I think that game is absolutely massive. But I also think that with Chelsea, if they can get their players back, I think Chelsea can get fourth place. But how long's Kante out injured for? How long's Hudson-Odoi out for? How long's Pulisic out for? How long's Tammy Abraham be out for? They need those players back. Why didn't we ask Ollie, why don't you play 4-3-3, says Karen Banzel. Because you can't. You've got to tailor your questions. I thought it was a good question, to be honest. How long's the game been going for? 6 minutes. 6 minutes so far. JJ Powell says he's suspended, Mark, to a question I asked about 20 minutes ago. Evening to Z Jamie in the house. And would you consider Mino Raiola as sporting director of United, says Carl J? No. No. But like putting Ronald McDonald in charge of your cattle. And Mark, you look like an older Haaland, says Nads Furnace. Or Haaland looks like a young me, although his fame is probably better than mine now. Rayan says he's coming to study in Leeds in September, so he hopes he gets the promotion. Leeds will be sell out anyway, just because you're going to go and live in Leeds. If they get to the Premier League, it won't be easy to get tickets. They have got a lot of fans. And I don't think their capacity is that much big. Here we go. Bergwijn hit it first time. No, he didn't. Good shot, good save. And I think Dele Alli on the back post was offside, but a good shot there and a good save. So Spurs with a chance as well. Bundesliga is so close at the top right now. This is Josh K. Good play by Bergwijn there. Upamecano is suspended, Faisal. That's been established. Apparently Saudis are waiting for club value to decrease, says Riff MU. Which won't happen if we start to play better, which is why I think that's a load of bollocks, by the way. Yo Green says we miss Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Williams and Fred against Watford. No, we don't. This is a myth going around about 5 yellow cards. Another shot there from Ship. Quite far out, straight at Lloris. But I like the way Leipzig play football. They play with a lot of confidence, and it don't surprise me that they're top of the Bundesliga at the moment. And the interesting thing with Bundesliga is that actually we've got 2 games out of the 4 Champions League English teams. you've got a double header with Spain and a double header with Germany, because Chelsea play Bayern next week, and obviously Leipzig are playing Spurs tonight. Last night we had Atletico Madrid from Spain against Liverpool, and next week we've got Man City against Real Madrid. We'll be doing both of those games as a watch along on here next week as well. Looking forward to those. And there's going to be a yellow card here, and it's going to go to Lo Celso. So your Celso has been booked. And I think, you know what, I do sort of feel sorry for Poch in a way with Spurs. Because, well, I don't feel sorry for Poch because I think he'd reach the end. But Lo Celso, Ndombele, Sessegnon, if United had bought those three players last summer, I would have been over the moon. They've just not hit the ground running, have they? Mount says Leipzig are not on top anymore. I think they are, mate. I think they are. They're much the better footballing team at the moment, but that tends to be the way with Jose, doesn't it? 10 minutes gone. You know, the thing about it is for Spurs, and Spurs fans are going to have the same problems that United fans had. Jose's football's just not that entertaining in the modern game. Shaka Phillips says, who are the dark horses for the Euros? Portugal, although they're the holders, aren't they? So how can they be dark holders? Fire, stop asking the same question. The answer to that question is the United Stand membership doesn't have exclusive content. It never has. That's just the way it works. So stop asking for more content when you know full well that there isn't any. Leipzig are not on top form. Bayern lead by 1 point, says Luke Midget. Bit of a mute point, that, isn't it? 1 point off the top, so you're not in good form. I'd wish United were in 1 point off the top and we were saying they were in good form. That's gone out for a goal kick. Oh, I'm bored of you, Fire. You can just go. Just go. You can take the warning and just do something with it. Mark, Bayern are a point ahead of Leipzig. Thanks for that. Do you ever go... Oh, God. Sheldon Feast, you can go as well. I'm just going to be very blunt with people who are idiotic in the live comments tonight because it's just boring. The same old questions I've been answering for 2 years. I'm not reading them out. You're wasting your finger energy, and you can just go. Leipzig on the attack here again, and that'll be a... Oh no, it says he's got the ball. And there's going to be a yellow card now for... this referee. This is the referee that books Nani. Sent Nani off. He's an idiot. I think he's Turkish, which doesn't mean he's an idiot, but he's a crap referee. I don't know how he's even still in a job. He's useless. I mean, to be fair, they both were yellow cards, but as a rule, I can't stand this ref. He's crap. And he is the one that sent Nani off in Sir Alex Ferguson's final season in the Champions League when we were beating Real Madrid. RB Leipzig are viewed like Man City are here in Germany, says Alec Williams. Yes, I was reading about this before. Is this because they're funded by Red Bull, so they've got loads of money? I genuinely don't know. So we've had a couple of super chats coming in here. One from Alec Williams, which was just read, and then Bryce Jones says, Mark, first time watching you on the new channel. Thanks for providing quality football content for me while I'm at work. Thanks, Bryce Jones. It's not a new channel, this. It's been going for quite a while. I just do like FIFA and stuff on here. But yeah, like general football stuff. So we will be doing Chelsea versus Spurs on Saturday lunchtime at 12:30. Jamie Braithwaite says, you're so aggressive, calm down. I couldn't be more calm, mate. I've got a cold, so my voice probably sounds way more aggressive than it normally does. It's certainly a lot deeper. I'm not aggressive, I'm not in a bad mood. There are just people in the live comments who just make stupid comments, but they're very easy to be dealt with, and I just like to tell them as I deal with them. They break all financial fair play rules in Germany, says Jimmy Jim. Well, they should deal with it then, shouldn't they? Ball over the top here. Lucas Moura chasing it down. The problem Spurs are going to have in a Mourinho side is that they don't really have anybody with any height or physicality to hold the ball up. So if they come up against defenders who are strong and good in the air, the ball's not going to stick. And that's a big problem. When you think about Mourinho sides, he does like to have a physical forward. You know, you think about United, Zlatan and Lukaku. You go back to, Chelsea, Drogba. He's always had that sort of player. I think it was Benzema at Real Madrid. So, yeah. How do I think this game's going to go, Calum? Well, yeah, I never asked anybody what's your score prediction in this. I fancy Leipzig to get a result. That could be a score. I think I'm going to go for a score draw. I just think Spurs' season's going to implode. We are mostly an annoying bunch, to be fair, says Murray. And you're all right, really. I just spot the odd idiot comment, and that's the world, isn't it? It's 4 a.m. in Malaysia. Feels jealous for European football fans. Says Too Young to Die. Do you think see similarities in Leipzig this season and Ajax? Yeah, I think you're right. I do think you're right. I think that there are similarities, and I wish the comment hadn't whizzed by after I read it, because I do see similarities. I think Leipzig could be the Ajax of the Champions League this season in the fact that they could go to the semi-finals, because they've done very, very well. But I couldn't see them winning it, if I'm honest. I love the watch-along, says Christian Swanpol. Good content and always puts a smile on my face. Good to hear. And Matthew O'Connor makes a good point. I want Spurs to go through so they can't concentrate on top 4. I think I agree with that. As a United fan, you want Spurs to stay in the Champions League as long as possible. But I don't think they're good enough to get through this over 2 legs. I can see it. I can see that when they go to Germany, they'll get beat. And they've just headed wide from a corner there. I think it's Shit again. Or Schick. Yeah, I think it is Schick. I mean, this is the thing that surprises me about Spurs. Even going back to Pochettino at the start of the season, it was a very good header as well. What surprises me about Spurs is that they're defensively not very good either. And that's something you'd expect from Mourinho. That was literally so close to being a goal. Absolutely, literally. What's your favourite stadium in Europe, in your opinion, and why? Says Alex1647. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm not going to mention... My favourite stadium in Europe is Old Trafford, for obvious reasons. Outside of England, what's yours? Get in the live comments. But for me, I do want to read some of these as well. So I'll come back to that one. Mark, this is wrong, and I may have a cold shower after saying this, but I think I like Jose again after everything we went through, says Nick P. Get in the cold shower. Is it worth starting up 5:30 to watch the Tottenham-Chelsea game? This is Brendan Callahan. Is it worth getting up at 5:30 to watch the Tottenham-Chelsea game? Live comments can tell you what to do on that one, Brandon. I mean, I think that, for me, I was going to do a watch-along for Chelsea-Spurs anyway, because I would normally watch it. But I think definitely because of the connotations it has for United, yeah, I will be watching it. Because and 6782 Anthony says, I know all this is a watch-along for Werner, but Nkanku is a quality young footballer. He would be good in the Premier League. He is. There's more than Werner in the Leipzig side. There's more than him. A lot of people... Shearer is saying Bernabeu, and Debbie Alder says Dortmund or San Siro. Thomas Acosta says the Bernabeu. A few people saying the Camp Nou. A lot of people saying Dortmund as well. You know, for me, I've got to go with... I've got to be absolutely honest with you and say that my favourite... my favourite ground is San Siro, and I'm not saying that that's because it's the best ground, but I think it was just because when I was growing up, Italia 90, watching Serie A in the Italian football on Channel 4 in the early 90s, the San Siro always just had something about it. And I remember Norwich playing Inter Milan. God knows what year that would have been. Maybe 92, 93, I don't know. It was on a Tuesday afternoon for some reason. And I've always found the San Siro just very appealing. And Lucas Moura is in here. He's done quite well. He hasn't got the strength. And a foul's been given. And that's going to be the problem, the lack of strength for the Spurs front two. But I always think, when people say, what's your favourite ground? When I'm doing this, and I don't know what you lot do, when I'm doing this, I always think, what's the ground I want to play at? And in the Premier League, the ground I always wanted to play at was Old Trafford, and I've done it. And if you get the opportunity or the way of doing it, and you can actually pay to do it, you can pay to play in games at Old Trafford in May when the season's over. So you wouldn't be disappointed. You might have to get your wife or girlfriend, to not know about it, because it can cost like £1,000 to play 45 minutes. But I'll tell you now, if you're a United fan, and it's the same if you're a Liverpool fan at Anfield, or the Emirates at Arsenal, or this ground if you're a Spurs fan, I'll tell you what, it's worth the money. It is worth the money because it's just unbelievable. Old Trafford was just unbelievable. And it was virtually empty as well, and it was unbelievable. But if I could play at any ground in the world other than Old Trafford, so outside of England, I think it would be the San Siro, just for historic reasons. I'd love to play at the Nou Camp, the Bernabeu, but I do like San Siro. Anyway, this game has been quite good this first 20 minutes. Bergwijn had a decent shot saved for Spurs, but the majority of the good play has been coming from Leipzig. Mason Slinger says, I love the podcast. I tell you what, Mason, you're the first person I've seen any feedback from the podcast. So basically, if you go to the United Stand latest video and you go in the video description, the podcast is back. It's exclusive. It's not on YouTube. It's just recorded by me as a podcast, and I had some good fun doing it today, so I'm glad that there's a bit of feedback on that for those who've listened to it. Dark Sniper says Leipzig are smashing them at the moment. They are in relation to the football context, yes. They are the better footballing teams. Emmett Murphy says, thoughts on Arsene Wenger's offside rule? I tell you what, Arsene Wenger can get back in the bin. He's a relic. I'm not interested in what Arsene Wenger's got to say, to be honest, because Arsene Wenger was the plonker who forced through the closure of the transfer window early, and now we've gone back to what it was like before. So I'm not interested in what Wenger's got to say. Harsh but fair. Atalanta are beating Valencia 1-0 in the other game. That's the tie everybody will want from this round. If you go through, you'll want to play Atalanta or Valencia. And a bit of a lesson for you from Jack Albertney. He says, Mark, Leipzig is pronounced Leipzig instead of Leipzig. So Leipzig, there you go. Mark, how many goals will Bergwijn score this season for Spurs? I reckon 5 to 10. Love the podcast, love to have it back. Can't wait for the other podcasts, says David Bakula. Thank you very much. I think Bergwijn will score 5 to 10 because of where he's going to be playing for Spurs. Spurs will still score goals, and Moura and Bergwijn will have to take on the responsibility for that. Logan Grieve, as I said last night, I think Liverpool will come back. 1 goal is hardly anything, really. It's in the penalty box for Spurs again, who are trying to pass it out. Mourinho will not like that, but Ben Davies does manage to get rid of it. And Lo Celso does what he should have done a minute ago and just blasts it up the pitch. But it's relentless at the moment from Leipzig. They are the better team. Atlanta are BTEC Leicester, says Shiva. And love comments, everyone, but please no spamming, says Sally Devil Red 7, who is a mod. Who do you think is going to win on Saturday, Chelsea or Spurs, says Joseph A? Going to have a look at the Premier League, to be honest, because I think it'll be a draw. That's my humble opinion. I think it'll be a draw, Grommets. More cheese, Grommets. I think it'll be a draw. And I think if my expectations are right, a draw would put Spurs on 41 points, Chelsea on 42 points, and then if Manchester United were to beat Watford, we'd be on 41 points as well, with a better goal difference than Spurs and 1 point behind Chelsea. So, yes, that would be quite interesting. But the problem that Tottenham have got, because we're watching Tottenham here, the trouble that Tottenham have got for me is they play Chelsea on Saturday, and as we move into March, they've then got Wolves, which won't be an easy game at all. Then they're playing in the Cup against Norwich, which they could probably do without. Then they play Burnley away, which will not be an easy game in the league. Then they're playing us at White Hart Lane, and I think we'll beat Spurs. I do. I think United will beat Spurs. So Spurs don't have a particularly easy run in either. They've got Arsenal to play, Everton to play, Leicester to play. I just don't. As I've said a couple of times on this stream already, I think Spurs' season is going to end potless. And the thing is, it's not like a normal year where, if you miss out on fourth, you'll get fifth and you'll get Europa. I think if you miss out on, you could finish fourth or you could finish eighth in this league. I think Spurs are going to come like a train as well. Sorry, Arsenal, I think will find some consistency as well. Although I think Arsenal will probably prioritise the Champions League. But looking at Chelsea's fixtures, obviously they've got this home game against Tottenham. Then they've got Bayern. Then they're away to Bournemouth, which you'd expect them to win that. But then they've got Liverpool in the FA Cup, Everton in the league, Villa away, Bayern Munich second leg. Then they've got to play Man City in the league, which will be very hard. West Ham away, Watford, Crystal Palace, Sheffield United. They've got to go to Anfield as well. I can see Chelsea have got a lot of points to drop. So it's going to be interesting. Foul on Dele Alli there, but nothing much happening. Lots of fouls. Don't like this referee. Not a fan. A lot of people do ask me, could Sheffield United, considering they're a point ahead of Manchester United at the moment, could Sheffield United actually get top four? Well, if I said to you that Sheffield United fixtures are like this, they play Brighton at home on Saturday, which, if they want to get top four, they've got to win. Then they've got Norwich at home, which, again, they should win. Then they've got Newcastle away, which they could win. Then they've got United at Old Trafford. Ooh, cross comes in and Werner was offside anyway. United. Then they got Spurs at home. Then they've got to go to Burnley. Then they've got Wolves at home. Then they've got Chelsea at home. Then they've got Leicester away, Everton at home, and then Southampton away. Basically, if Sheffield United treat every game like a cup final, they could do it. But I just don't think Sheffield United can do it really. But what a story it would be. I'd like nothing more than come April we're doing watch-alongs for Sheffield United and their quest for top four. I would love them to do it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Spurs are on the attack here. Bergwijn with the cross and a good defensive header there because it was going to fall onto the head of Dele Alli. And I think what you can see from what Mourinho's trying to do is trying to use the height of Dele Alli to get some physicality in that final third and a bit of height in there. But is Dele Alli really a striking option? Tired. I tell you what though, I've done a good job of getting over this cold, considering Monday I felt like shit and it's only Wednesday. I'm feeling a lot better. Do I like Guinness? Says Jamie. Does a bear shit in the woods? Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I do like it. Which reminds me, trip to Dublin next in April. Can't wait for that. Liam Blasky says, I know you're from the Midlands. What's your opinion on Coventry City? Lloyd McGrath, Brian Kilbane, Steve Ogrizovic, Keith Houchin. What a header that was. FA Cup final 1987. Coventry won it. That will probably be your only bit of success for hundreds of years. Coventry City always make me think of Richard Keys because he supports them. And I don't really like him. But they're not too far away from where I live. And I just don't get the situation with Coventry. They had the Highfield Road, I think it was called. That got knocked down. The Rico got built. and they've hardly spent any time playing in the Rico because somebody owns the Rico. And I don't think they're playing at the Rico now. I think they're playing at St Andrews in Birmingham. So they've become a little bit of a hobo club, really. Hobo, Hobo, not the other one. In the fact that they're always moving around and they don't really have anywhere to live. How long will Jose last at Spurs, says the Bit W. I think the pressure will come in on Jose next season. Alec Williams says, do you think if Sheffield United get the Champions League or Europa League that it could negatively affect their season next year as they don't have a big squad? Oh, 100%. It would just be a gimmick. I'm happy to have that gimmick, but it would be a total waste of time, Sheffield United being in the Champions League, because they'll probably get relegated next year. Mark, I'm not reading these out, Pure Gaming. Not even going to read it. They're actually, I don't have to read Super Chats out. I pretty much read 99% of them, but I'm not going to read. I don't have to read them out, so idiotic ones won't get rid out. United stand will have the watch along for United tomorrow night, and it's a 6 o'clock UK time kickoff. So with this game at the moment, Spurs have actually settled down a lot better. They're defending a lot better at the moment. Leipzig still the better team, but Spurs, after a bit of a cagey start, have settled down quite well. And they've got a corner here though, Leipzig. Headed away by Davinson Sanchez. And that's a good little bit of play by Lo Celso. That's really good play by Lo Celso. They've got a bit of a break on here. Lovely run. He needs to look to his right. He's gone to his left. Bergwijn and a good block. He needed to go to his right there, Lo Celso. Really good run from his own half, but the pass was onto the right, not the left. He went the wrong way. Adam Dipotti says, can you play Fantasy Premier League next season? Love you, Mark. Actually, I think I am going to do Fantasy Premier League next season because I think it would be good content for this channel. Dark Sniper says, do you think Werner will come to United? And predictions for the game tomorrow. I think United will win 2-0 tomorrow. I don't think Werner will come to United. I think he's one of those signings, a little bit like Bruno and Fabinho. And I know we did get Bruno. A shot over the bar there from Jedson Fernandez. I know we did sign Bruno, which I'm still surprised about. But we've all got it. It doesn't matter whether you're Chelsea, United, Liverpool, whatever. We've all got players that we think would be brilliant for our club that the club don't sign. And I felt that Bruno was going to go after last summer when we didn't sign him. I thought that's it. We'll never get Bruno now. So I'm over the moon that we did. But I wanted Fabinho for years. I wanted Lozano for years, and I do want Werner. And I just think he'll be we won't get him. In many ways, Werner's sort of my next obsession. So it won't happen. I think he'll probably go to. I think he'll go to Bayern Munich. But if not, he'll probably go to Liverpool. Hi Mark, what do you think of having all English front three of Rashford, Sancho and Greenwood in the future, says Matt Life. Not bothered. I'm not bothered about that sort of thing. Zamiasi says, come on, RB, smash this fake London team. I'm not bothered about that. I think it would be nice to have an English front three, of course it would, but I'm not bothered about it. At the end of the day, it's not that. It makes no difference to me. We had Cantona up front. We've had Van Nistelrooy up front. I just don't. It doesn't. Van Persie. I'm not bothered where they're from as long as they're good. Nick P says Spurs need some decent players next season. Adam Rooney and Nathan Pond would transform them into title contenders surely. Wilder or Fury, says Cress Welsing. You know what? I want Fury to win it, but I've got a funny feeling that Wilder might just catch him this time. He's probably going to have to knock him out to catch him, but I think he will catch him. I really hope Tyson Fury wins though, but I just think that Wilder will do it. I think we're going to get a red card in this game as well. There's lots of fouls. The referee's breaking up the play, but he's very eager to give out yellow cards as well. So I think we might see a red card in this game. I warned you all. I don't like this referee. Jack Brady, would you say that De Bruyne is a modern day Roy Keane? No. There is no modern day Roy Keane. There's nothing like Roy Keane, but Roy Keane wasn't that sort of player. De Bruyne is like, it's like saying his, it's like saying his Van Dijk a modern day Alan Shearer. Like, there's just totally different players, De Bruyne and Roy Keane. In the modern day, Roy Keane, there is no Roy Keane. That's the bloody problem. If there was a Roy Keane, everyone would buy it because he just guarantees you titles. He's a captain on the pitch and a brilliant player. I tell you what, that's a good question there from YT_LazzaBTW. Rashford or Son? That is a good question. For me, it's always going to be Rashford because he plays for United. But actually, I'd be interested to know what the neutral thinks on that. I am a big fan of Son though. Although I do think Son's been a bit inconsistent over the last year. Joshua Evans, when are you playing FIFA again? I don't know, is the honest answer. This is why I played loads of FIFA over the last 2 weeks, because there wasn't many games. As soon as the games start to kick in, it's hard to find the time to do it. But we will do it again. We'll pick it up again. You've just got to get in the rhythm. Leipzig on the attack here. Nice little bit of play. Oh, this should be 1-0. He's got so much time. Oh, what a save, Werner. I think he was offside anyway. What a chance. They fed it through to him on the left-hand side. He's got time to... This is the sort of chance you want on a Sunday morning on the pub football. He's got so much time. He can actually take a chance. He's miles onside as well. Loads of time. He actually had two touches in the box before he took his shot. Not a very good finish. Bit of a toe-ender straight at Lloris. Will Football Manager make a return, says the Bit W. It might. Ed Woodward, that's good for you. Last comment though, bye-bye. And harsh but fair, I think you'll understand why. And welcome to the Royal Mail, the latest member of That's Football Members Club, which only opened up last night. So you can become a member now by clicking the join button. And Zayn Miassi says, Mark, the players of today are not real men. We need players like Keane, etc., not people who care about hair colours. You don't like Pogba, do you, Zayn? It's obvious. But we're 0-0 with 36 minutes gone. And I do think, you know what? I do think... Oh, that's a bad injury there. The Leipzig player's gone down on his knee. Leipzig. It's Mukeli. Looks quite innocuous, but we'll see. George Ramos with the super chat says, what are your thoughts on the Love Island producer passing away, and can Ollie win you back if he starts playing well? I hope he manages to turn it around. Well, that's two very big questions. I mean, the Love Island thing, I don't know whether I even want to talk about it really, because this is a football channel. Very sad. And Mark, did you see the new interview from Fred regarding Solskjaer and United? I did, Riven, and he basically didn't really back Ollie that much, did he? And welcome to Jester's Vengeance, the latest member of That's Football's Members Club. Welcome, Jesters. Can Ollie win me back if he starts playing well? Yes, because I am somebody who believes in second chances. So, and he's had about 10 chances with me. I keep changing my mind on Ollie, but what I have said now is I just don't want him to go till May. So I hope we can get some sort of, even if it's win 2, draw 2, as long as he can just keep the results ticking over. I don't want an interim manager. That's the last thing I want. And also, we're not going to get a proper manager till May anyway, so you may as well give him that time. Look at Paul Ince, he was a legend. That's who United needs, says Zayn Miassi. Well, he was a good player at United, to be fair, Paul Ince. That should be a goal. That should be a goal. That's Dele Alli for you. He's just a tall Jesse Lingard. That was on his head. A lovely cross. I think it's Lo Celso. Probably too busy and thinking about being in hotel rooms with his willy out. Cross come. What is he doing? It's right on his head. It's like he ducks out the way of it. What a prat. He's one of the most overrated players ever. Dele Alli. What a prat. What a prat. I've got to tweet it. I really hope he doesn't go to the Euros, by the way, because I just think he's crap. Zane mustn't like Lundberg then. Sure, he had pink hair, says McNally145. And Harold Holst-Versvold says, future for City, lots of empty seats. With ban, will Pep stay, attract players, etc. Thoughts? Or United, I support players as long in red, including Paul Pogba. There you go. There you go. Dele Alli should have scored, by the way. It was right on his head. It was a lovely cross, and he seemed to move his head out the way. I don't think he deliberately moved his head out the way. I just think he's useless, to be honest. And that's why the Dele Alli or Jesse Lingard debate continues. Lovely ball in here. Timo Werner, look at the pace. Cross comes in, and good defensive play by Davinson Sanchez. So fast, Timo Werner as well, showing you there he can. That's why I like Timo Werner. Here he's playing like a left winger, down that left hand side, pace, cross, but he can do it off the right and he can do it more off the middle as well. Shiva says that Ali closed his eyes. Corner to RB Leipzig here. The cross comes in. Up they go. Out we go. Davinson Sanchez gets rid of it. And it's still, they're on the attack here. Very confident on the ball and very physical as well. They're all quite big, aren't they, the RB Leipzig boys? And, that sounds wrong. They're all very good on the ball. Your favourite character in Mindhunter? Adrian, I don't even know the names of them. That's how into. I've started watching Narcos Mexico now. Anyway. There they are on the attack again. Werner's gone out to the left-hand side and won another corner. Prime Luis Figo or prime David Beckham, says PAVFC. I wouldn't even like. I'm going to go Beckham because of what he did for United and England. I mean, but Figo was a good player. A different type of players though. Figo was more of a person beater really. Another good cross there. Well cleared by Spurs, who are defending a lot better now. But I've got to say, as we approach half-time, I think Spurs deserve to go out. I know it's early days, but they're not really looking to play football, are they? They're the home team here, and they're not trying to get hold of this game. Eddie Martin says that Beckham was a set-piece and crossing merchant. Eddie Martin, the Beckham expert, who dropped out his mum's chuff in 2000. Are you going to do a squad you think should go to the Euros in May and April time, says Oliver Edwards. I'll probably do it a little bit closer, Oliver. I'll probably do it in April or May. Probably do it in April, actually. I think it's a bit early to be doing it at the moment. Where do I think Arsenal will finish, Thomas Spragg? Well, Thomas, I'm going to have a quick look at Premier League table here. So Arsenal have got 34 points in 9th place. And that puts them 7 points off 4th. Arsenal have got an outside chance of getting top 4, you know. I don't know what their fixtures are, but they have got an outside chance of getting top 4 if they can keep their momentum going. They're playing Everton on Sunday, which if they win that'll put them above Everton. They've then got West Ham at home, which they'll win. Brighton away, which they could win. Southampton away, which they could win. Norwich at home, which they should win. Then they've got Wolves away, which will be tough. Leicester at home, which will be tough. Tottenham away, that will be tough. Liverpool at home will be tough. Which that game on Saturday the 2nd of May, by the way, Arsenal-Liverpool at the Emirates, could be the game to stop them doing the Invincibles. So look, Arsenal have got a tougher end to the season because they've got Villa and Watford who could both be fighting for survival. So I could see Arsenal getting a bit of momentum going over the next few weeks and then falling away at the end. Hi Mark, opinions on Lucien Favre, Tactic MC versus PSG? Don't really know, to be honest, mate. I'll say it when I don't. And Anton Leitnen says, Lloris has played after his injury, don't you think? Love from Finland. He's played well, yeah. Thanks to Bihamik2688. Lingard or a 70-year-old Pele, says Ben George. Well, how old's Pele now? Has played well, I mean. I knew that's what you meant, Anton. Don't worry. Joseph said, so who should England pick? Grealish, Maddison or Mount? Southgate's a bit of an idiot because he has obsessions with players, which he's allowed to have because he's the manager, but if Grealish and Maddison are not on the plane, that's ridiculous. Because, who's going to go instead of them? This plonker, Dele Alli, who's just actually done a good bit of skill. Grealish and Maddison have both got to be on the plane. If they're not, it's a joke. And Zane says, Arteta has only been there a short while with Pepe, Oba, Lacazette, Xhaka, Martinelli. We are the Galacticos of London and bring it on Liverpool. To be honest with you, I don't think that game in May between Arsenal and Liverpool will be the Invincibles decider, because I think Man City will beat Liverpool when they play them in late March. I think that will be the get out of jail card for Arsenal. But I tell you what, that would be very interesting, wouldn't it? The third to last game of the season, Liverpool go to the Emirates. They're still unbeaten, and Arsenal know that if they don't beat Liverpool, it's highly likely they're going to smash their invincible record by a long, long way. It would be interesting. Anyway, it's half time. It's half time in this one. We've had no goals. And the start was pretty good from RB Leipzig. They started very, very well. They should have got an early goal. I wish they bloody had, because Spurs have been workmanlike at best. It's been typical Mourinho football. Very little invention, very little intention, and really just a defensive display. So the way things are going at the moment, I really do hope that RB Leipzig score in the second half and knock Spurs out, because they've been boring as hell. And I think the Spurs fans will be disappointed as well. All right, you haven't got Harry Kane, you haven't got Son, but you've got Bergwijn and Moura up front. Why can't you get the ball to their feet and let them run? Atalanta are 2-0 up against Valencia. Cobros Atkins, sorry. I missed your super chat again. Sorry, I don't miss people's super chats on purpose. It's just occasionally they go through. Why do people think Wenger is a what? Cobb, it's probably a good job I missed your super chat, because he said, why do people think Wenger is a number 9? He is like Rashford. He's a left forward. Wenger's nothing. I think you mean Werner. So let's pretend that you mean Werner. Werner can play down the middle, but he can play off the left and he can play off the right as well, which is why I would like him at United, because people are so fixated on us buying a striker. But if you bought Werner, he'd be like Martial and Greenwood and Rashford. He can play in a number of positions, which I think would be great for us. Have you seen Still Game? Says Logan Grief. No. Not going to lie, says Ace FN, it's unlikely for Spurs not having Son or Keane, which they need. I just think Spurs have been really boring. And I think that is disappointing from a Spurs point of view, to be boring. Man City are beating West Ham 1-0 with about 5 people watching. They've had 77% possession. Man City, West Ham have had one shot on goal, so not going particularly well for them. As per. But I've been impressed by Leipzig. They've looked quite good. Championship's tight, isn't it? I mean, to me, it looks like West Brom are going to go up, and Leeds are looking quite good at the moment. But there's a lot of tightness down there at the moment from those teams. Super chat coming in from Josh Bowster. He says, would you do a video where you give your opinion on what the transfer values of our 99 or 2008 squad players would be in today's market? I could do it, Josh, but as much as I would be interested in that sort of content, I mean, look, you could do it on That's Football and you could value the Invincibles Arsenal side from 2004, but it wouldn't get any views because people just aren't interested in history. I've tried to do that sort of content over the years, and well, look, every February the 6th, we do a video about the Busby Babes, and the funny thing is that's not funny is that we can do the best content in relation to Busby Babes, and remembering them, telling everybody everything about them. And 2 days before, you can be talking about United signing Josh King. Josh King will get 5 times the views a Busby Babe video does. It's sad, but true. People aren't interested in history. You'd want to change the date, Mark. Bottom left says no, it's a running joke. It's a running joke. And Zane says, Mark, did you see they are shooting Indiana Jones this year? Harrison Ford will be 77. Will you do a review like that, like you did with The Rise of Skywalker? I've never really been a big fan of Indiana Jones, though. If I'm totally honest with you, I didn't even like it much as a kid. I like Harrison Ford, but I'm not such a big fan, if I'm honest. I'm going to do Euros watch-alongs on this channel, yes. Actually, that reminds me. I've not even asked people. If you're new, please do subscribe to the channel. Bottom right-hand corner to do so. Please do subscribe. Get involved. Everybody's welcome on here. We do watch-alongs, etc., etc. Bit of FIFA stuff as well. Our next watch-along is going to be Chelsea versus Spurs, which is on Saturday lunchtime. Very much looking forward to that. So please do subscribe if you're new. Get involved. Everybody is welcome on here. That's how it works. So do get involved. In relation to fixtures at the weekend, if you are interested, Chelsea Spurs is a 12:30 kickoff. You've got Leicester Man City at 5:30, which I'm sort of thinking of doing. I'm sort of thinking of doing it. And then on Sunday, you've got Arsenal Everton at 4:30, which I think is quite an interesting game as well. I might do that. United are playing Watford on the Sunday at 2:00. But I suppose the thing about it is that Leicester and Manchester City pretty much have got the top 4 spots on lockdown. Leicester could drop. They could get pulled in, Leicester. I mean, actually, could Leicester get pulled in? They're on 50 points. Chelsea are on 41 points. If they lose at the weekend to Man City and Chelsea win, could close it to 6. It's not impossible. Impossible. It's not impossible. De Bruyne has now scored for City. It's 2-0 there. Jay Singh, all right, Mark. Hope you had a good day, mate. What are your thoughts on Fred's comments on Ollie? And do you think if we make Champions League, he will stay? I think Ollie will stay. If we get Champions League, and I think at the moment we're pretty much favourites to do that. Mr. Fish says City Stadium is so empty. Well, they're empty fans. This is the thing. Man City, if they did get relegated, they'd have no fans. Man City, if they not in the Champions League and they have to lose a load of their players, they'll lose a load of fans because they're just a shallow club. You know, if Liverpool got relegated, they'd still pack Anfield out every week. And the same with Manchester United because they've got real fans. But I tell you what, look at some of the early saves from Lloris. They're brilliant, aren't they? Gets a little bit lucky with one of them. This one from Timo Werner, I think it's just a great save by Lloris, using his whole body. Adam VSC says, Mark, what do you make of Nagelsmann then? Really like his tactics, even though they're a bit gung-ho. If Ollie continues to be awful. Look, what I would say is that if he's in his early 30s, that's the sort of man I would like to see United going for. Not because he's in his early 30s, but just because he's the next big thing. I want United to go and get the next big thing. That's what Liverpool did. Everyone knew about Klopp at Dortmund, but they went and got him. You want to get the next big thing. But, in a way, Pochettino, Spurs sort of did that. They got him from Southampton and he became very good. I'd like United, rather than trying to get these, rock star managers like Mourinho and Pochettino who've had good albums elsewhere, I'd like to go and get the next bit of talent. Mark, hope the rich Nigerian buys us and Saudis buy you so we can get the rivalry back. It's the same thing. Imagine that. Arsenal get taken over by a billionaire and United get taken over by a billionaire, and let's go for it. It would be good. Sonnet says, does it hurt you watching Haaland? No, not really. I wish he had come to United. I think United thought he was coming to United, but it wasn't meant to be, was it? And he would have made a huge difference. But I also think if United had got Haaland, they may have not got Bruno Fernandes. So if you're asking me who I want, obviously I'm a massive fan of Bruno Fernandes, so that's what I would want. Haunted Radio says, even if Liverpool lose one game, they would still win about 35 to 36 games. Wouldn't that still be better than Arsenal Invincibles? Yes, probably comment of the night there. The Invincibles doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you're one of the best Premier League clubs ever because you won the Invincibles. I've seen every Premier League season. I know every Premier League champion and I can rank them confidently. And a lot of you can do that as well. And I know that Invincibles team wasn't even the best Arsenal Premier League winning side. 98 double winners was. That's the best Arsenal side there's ever been. That's why when we won the treble in 99, it meant so much, because Arsenal were right up our arse in the league till the final day. Arsenal we beat in extra time in the FA Cup. And then the Champions League was ridiculously hard as well, some of the teams. It was an absolute battle to win that Premier League, that FA Cup, and that Champions League, because it was so hard, because there were so many other good teams. So Liverpool are better than the Invincibles teams now. They could lose every single game and still be better than that. That Invincible team got to a point where they were playing for points to keep the record going. They got more focused on winning the Invincibles than they did in actually trying to win games. It was about a tick in the box, to be honest. And it's a good tick in the box, and Arsenal fans should be very proud of it, but it's not your best Arsenal side. Mark, what do you think of Lorenzo Pellegrini at Roma? Would be good addition to Manchester United, says Patel. He has been linked to us before, but we've had this before. Barella, Bernardeschi. There's loads of Italians that get linked to United and never come. We end up with the crap ones like Darmian. So he is good, but I just can't see it happening. Liverpool versus West Ham on Monday night, says Jack's Trains. Look, there's plenty of that. That's just a boring game. It's going to be such an easy win. Thoughts on Nicolas Pepe's season so far, says Epic Pelez. Well, look, I get sold by Arsenal fans as somebody who said, oh, he's crap, he's a flop. I've always said I like Pepe. I've always said I wish United bought Pepe, and I've always said he's not a flop. I've done a bit of banter that he's a flop because it's easy to do, but he's not. I don't think he will be a flop. I think he will get better and better. And also, I've got experience of this. Look at Fred. If you judged him on his first season, you'd say he's a flop. If you judge him on this season, you'd say he's one of the best Premier League midfielders. So he's a good player, and I think he's doing very, very well. Zayn Miasi says, why did Spurs spend $1 billion on a stadium when it will never win trophies? It will become the new Millennium Dome. Spurs will have to rent trophies out to fill their cabinets. Typical Arsenal fan. Mr. Fish says he'd take Ziyech over Bruno. Well, you're a Chelsea fan, aren't you? So it's exactly what you're going to do. Is Moyes capable of saving West Ham from the drop? Says PAVFC. And thanks for the little dancing thing, DJ John T. I am a bit sick, Dylan. I've got a bit of a cold. I think Moyes... A lot of football depends on what your fixtures are. If you're playing Man City, Liverpool, Leicester, Chelsea in your next 5 games, you're not going to get many points, are you? And I think that's the problem with West Ham. He's got Man City away, then he's got Liverpool away. You know, it's just going through the motions. You're not going to get anything, are you? Jamie English, Tottenham Hotspur says, would you find it funny if Arsenal get taken over by a billionaire and get relegated? I think there is a large part of me that would find it funny, yeah. So, second half is about to kick off. Natural Data says the media preach negativity about City. That's why the fan base is not there. But assume next 10 years City fan base will grow. I don't know. I don't know about that. I think City are just quite a bland club. I've had many a conversation. I've read many an article about the problem with Manchester City. They can't buy history, so they're not going to appeal on history. And people say, "Wow, history's history," but it isn't. Like even Arsenal, I know there are fans that support Arsenal and are very proud and excited about people like Thierry Henry and that, even though some of them weren't even born when they were there. I mean, it's the same with United. Same with Liverpool. That history does attract people. You want credibility, and you do get that. I think with Man City, they're just a bland football club. Pep's a very bland manager. Even though he's quite animated, he's quite bland. His football team is very bland. You don't see that. There's not a lot of drama, and I think they're just the press don't write a lot about them because they're not that interesting. So I think their fan base is very transient in that way. I think they can, I'll watch them today or I might not watch them, It's not an obsession to support Manchester City for many fans. God, the end of Lemsip makes you want to throw up. Second half's about to kick off. Will we get a goal? I think Leipzig deserve a goal, but we will see if they can get one or whether Spurs can improve in this second half. Got a good super chat coming in from Anton Leitinen here. Please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Come on, ref, kick it off. Go on in, ref. Kick it off, ref. Come on. Come on, kick it off. Come on in. Come on in, kick it off. Kick it off, ref. You, come on. Kick it off. Kick it off. Go on. There we go. We're off. We're up and running. Second half. Anton Latinan says that did you watch wrestling when you were growing up? And my favourite wrestler was Chris Benoit. I'll tell you a story because we are on YouTube. I went through a little bit of a phase just before Christmas, last Christmas, that why are we not playing on? It's only a bit of bloody toilet paper on the pitch. Stopping the game for some toilet paper on the pitch. Come on. Sort yourselves out. We're going to be playing past 10 o'clock at this rate. And Lloris the prat takes it all off and then goes and gets it caught in his feet and runs it back on. Did you see one of the Labour candidates is a United fan, yet she follows Corbyn, who is an Arsenal fan, says Zayn Yassi. When are they getting rid of Corbyn, Zayn? Anyway, what I was going to say, wrestling, I got into a stage on YouTube where I was just typing in WrestleMania 2000 and whatever, and I was just watching loads of old wrestling games, and I did used to really like wrestling. Bret the Hitman Hart, The Rockers, Legion of Doom, Ultimate Warrior, Shawn Michaels, I loved it. I haven't watched it in years though. There's so much to watch, isn't there, as well? You have to dedicate a lot of time to it, and I ain't got the time. I ain't got no time to watch it. Right. Bing. Right, we need a goal in this game. Good save. There. Every time I look at my phone, I miss something. That's bloody annoying. Zane says, how symbolic. Lou Roll on the Spurs pitch. Oh, he just can't help himself. He can't help himself. Want Leipzig to win. Hate any team that Jose goes to now. He cured my insomnia, but I was bored stiff for 3 years, says Red Baron. There's nothing's changed with Mourinho, hasn't it? I mean, I must put a tweet out in a minute about that, Red Baron. You're absolutely spot on. Leipzig on the attack here. I'd love that. I wish they'd scored in the first 2 minutes, because then Mourinho's tactics would not have worked, is it? There was a piece on Sky about City's ban, and they cut to a former legend to give his opinion. It was Darius Vassell, and it says it all really, says Nick P. Hey, there's only one legend of Manchester City. He is the GOAT. It's Sean Goater. He's a proper legend of the club when they actually were a football club. Mark, if we got Poch, which players do you think would come? Says Xhaka. Mate, I don't even want to talk about it. To be honest with you, I know there's a lot of people hoping that that's going to happen, but I still very much think Ollie could be here next season. So I don't even want to think about potential getting your hopes up or anything like that. I think we are what we are. We go with what we've got until it becomes a reality. There was I read that from Nick P. James Kahn says Agallo or Prime Ronaldo. Chris Babajadi says, funny how everyone says Mourinho is boring, but Atletico plays solid when the football style is similar. Chris, I don't think anybody on this channel watching Atletico Madrid last night said that Atletico Madrid played good football or praised it. I think they more praised the fact that they beat Liverpool, who have literally beaten everybody in the Premier League this season apart from Manchester United. So it was more the fact that Atletico Madrid got a result. That I would not want Diego Simeone anywhere near Manchester United. He is quite literally the same as Mourinho. So no, I don't give it. I don't give him any credit. Good free kick position here for Leipzig. I'd love them to score. They're the more attacking team. And maybe if they score, it'll bring Spurs out of their shell. At this moment in time, and I've done quite a few watch-alongs on this channel over the last few years of Spurs, and I've wanted Spurs to do quite well. But they're boring. They're so boring under Mourinho. I'm really disappointed. And I don't mind Mourinho's interviews now because he's not managing Man United, but over the bar. But they're so boring. Can't say it's enough. Imagine if Man City had a fan channel. God, they can't even get people in their ground, let alone watching it. In fact, funny story, Manchester City did have a fan channel called Blue Moon Rising, right? They used to share their office with full-time Devils because they were so shit and they couldn't even afford to have their own one because they didn't have the views. And then they got shut down. So that shows you everything about Chelsea, about Man City, doesn't it? That they're in relation to their future as a football club and attracting fans, they can't even have a fan channel because they ain't got enough fans. Like Everton have got a fan channel called Toffee Men, and it's been running for years, and it's been doing well for years, but Man City can't have a fan channel. And whilst that's very banter, it's also very true. Corner to Leipzig. Score a goal, please, Leipzig. Score a goal. Oh, they've cleared it again. I mean, Spurs have defended well. I've got to give them that credit, but you'd expect that from a Jose side, wouldn't you? Chris Welsing says, Haaland's got 11 goals in 7 games, 39 in 50. It's insane. Haaland's going to Real Madrid next, isn't he? Let's be honest. I don't think he'll go to Barcelona. Barcelona tend to have a certain type of player that they want, whereas Real Madrid just want to take the best. And I think that he will probably go to Real Madrid very soon. Don't think he'll be at Dortmund long. Maybe next season and that'll be it. Minamino to succeed, says Sean Savage. Doesn't even matter if he doesn't. I mean, the thing is, look at Shaqiri. I thought Shaqiri was a good signing for Liverpool. He doesn't play very often, does he? But I thought he was a good signing for the price. And I think Minamino, again, you know, even if he chips in with a couple of goals this season, it's still a contribution for a minimal price. Juve seems more likely for Haaland, says Zero Blade 57. Well, with Mino Raiola in charge, it could well be the case. I have seen Top Boy. Hi, I'm Theo. Really enjoyed it, but you need to watch Summer House before, because that's the first 2 seasons. I'm getting to the point with this game, and I don't know about you lot, I'm getting to the point with this game, even though I would normally want Spurs to win, and Spurs fans should be concerned about this, I'm getting to the point where I want RB Leipzig to win, because I think Spurs are anti-football, and it's embarrassing, and I don't want to watch teams that grind their way through. At the end of the day, Harry Kane and Son are a loss, but come on, you've still got some... That's a penalty. That's a penalty. The Goldbridge charm worked. I'm getting to the point where I want Leipzig to win, and they're going to win. Ronaldo will probably follow the bench Beckham route after his career ends, but what about Messi, future coach, says Red Baron. Interesting. And come on, Leipzig, best this pub team, says Zane. Well, me and Zane don't normally agree, but we probably do agree on this. I want Leipzig to win because I think Spurs have been atrocious. And Mourinho can look pissed off, but what's your plan, Jose? I'm disappointed in you. I like Spurs. I've always found Spurs to be a likeable team, but you're not likeable at the moment. And you've got to take a long, hard look at yourself. Reminds me of the tie against Sevilla, says the Bit W. Yeah, it's been embarrassing. Shut up, Mark. You just hate City because we are better than you, says Darren Morris. Screenshot it. Screenshot it, everybody. Quick, get your phones out and screenshot it. It's a genuine Man City fan. It's a genuine Man City fan. This is like being on safari and seeing, a rare tiger. We've actually caught a real Man City fan. The bait has worked. It's taken years, but we finally got a Man City fan to comment on the comments. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. We're never going to forget that. Right, penalty to Manchester City. Not really. Penalty to... You won't be in the Champions League for much longer. Penalty to Leipzig. And this is the best thing that could happen to this game if he scores. Having said that, it's Werner against Lloris. And Lloris has been very good. But he's not stopping that. It's low and hard. It's Timo Werner time. It's 1-0 to RB Leipzig. So it is. They lead 1-0. Best thing that could happen to this game. We get a goal. Because Spurs have been absolutely terrible. No invention, no intention, no risk taking. It's the Mourinho of Manchester United all over again. And I tell you what, to be fair to Lloris, it's not his fault. He's had a very good game. He goes the right way. But that from Werner is a real lesson in how, if you hit it right, it doesn't even matter which way the goalkeeper goes. It will still go in the goal. So it's 1-0 to RB, as I'm going to call him now. And it's Werner time. Stonewall penalty. Didn't even need to go to VAR. And I'm surprised. I've gone high pitch. I'm surprised. I'm surprising myself. I've surprised myself. I actually was thinking, I want Spurs to win tonight. I want them to do well. They've been a bloody embarrassment. I feel sorry for Spurs fans. I know a few Spurs fans. And this is not... They might, Zane's right. They don't have many trophies in their cabinet. But they do have principles at Spurs. And that is to play, a football that is, and Zane says goal, a football that's, entertaining. They won't like this. I think Spurs fans were a bit like United fans. They'll put up with the crap football if it delivers trophies. But one thing we know about the modern game is that Mourinho's park it and grind out results. It ain't going to win you trophies. He talks about coming second with Manchester United and what a great achievement it was. But we were 20 odd points behind Man City. So, it's not... It was not a great achievement. A lot of United fans respected the fact that he got second place, but we didn't really respect the fact that we were 20-something points behind Manchester City. So, and you've got to play good football. And unfortunately, Werner again, unfortunately... Spurs just don't play good football. And it's going to be hard. Who plays most entertaining football, Jose or Ollie, says Jenks1102. Well, we'll find out in March, because we're coming here to play these. I think we'll beat them. I think Harry Maguire and Eric Bailly will have a picnic on halfway line playing against Mora and Dele Alli as a front two. They're awful. Because that's what he's basically playing, 4-4-2, with Dele Alli up front with Lucas Moura. Jedson Fernandez is playing as a right winger. Bergwijn's playing as a left winger. CGC says Mourinho is done. I said Mourinho was done. When he went to Spurs, I said he was done. There's a big Mourinho fan base out there. People love Jose. And look, he's box office. Jose Mourinho is box office. He's very interesting. He's very entertaining to watch. And it was the same at United. But this ain't... I feel sorry for Spurs. I had it with United. You were hoping for the old Jose to reappear. But it's just crap. It's absolutely crap, the football. Although, Bergwijn's broke the offside trap here. Into the box. Lays it off. Get a shot off. Lo Celso, good shot, straight at the keeper. A little bit better from Spurs. The game might open up a bit now, because if Spurs go to Germany 1-0 down, this tie's over. Or is Jose purposely going out of the Champions League to focus on top four? Obama who, Obama what, Obama Clud Clot, London is red and the Arteta revolution has started, says Zayn Miasi. Arsenal fans living their success through Spurs losses again. Atalanta are winning. I think they're winning 3-0. Abel Mola. G-Star Red Gaming says Mourinho is more straight to DVD than box office these days. Yeah. Mark, could Henderson be the only Manchester United player to start for England at the Euros, says Nate. I think if Rashford's fit, he'll start. But they're on the attack here. This should be 2-0. What a save by Lloris. What a save by Lloris. A lovely play by Leipzig again. And Lloris makes another world-class save. This could be a cricket score. Please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. Our next watch-along is Chelsea versus Spurs. Saturday lunchtime, the battle for top 4. But at the moment, Spurs are hanging on. If this goes 2-0, it's over. 2 away goals, remember, as well. And Leipzig have got Upamecano out as well. So defensively, they'll be even stronger. Adam Clark, Pep won't stay at City if they can't do the Champions League. Who does he go to? Juve. Also, who do you dislike more, Chelsea or Arsenal? It's not really about dislike. I prefer Chelsea to get top 4 than Arsenal, really. Mark, I saw one the other day. He appeared, and before I could take a photo, I think he had a Stephen Ireland printed on the back of his shirt. Man City fan. And do you know me? Says Chris Benoit. I've got Chris Benoit. You're dead, mate. You're dead, aren't you? And you did some bad things to your family. So you better not be the ghost, because you did bad things. Bad things. Timo is so good, says Nash. Absolutely superb player. Absolutely superb player. Substitution here. Useless Dele Alli comes off. And Jedson Fernandez comes off. He's not had a good game either. And Lamela and Ndembele come on. Spurs have got depth. It's just, have they got quality in depth? 4-0 to Atalanta, so they're going through. They're 4-0 up against Valencia. Full time, City win 2-0 against West Ham. Delhi off. Cute Cat Gaming says Mourinho out. Mourinho out. Get him out. That's what a Scouser would say. I've quite enjoyed this game, and I think it's become an enjoyable game now because they're losing. And my mate, he doesn't message me that much. He just says Spurs are done, Mark. Out of the top 4 race. Spot on. I've just said defo, which means spot on. And I'm going to send him a picture of a jumper I know he'll like. It's on my Insta. He'll love it. He'll love it. Zane's Mark, Spurs is a 2-man team with Kane and Son speaks better English than Kane. Oh, Zane, you're cracking in with the jokes. Pump it up. You've got to pump it up. How confident am I go out getting top 4, Lewis? I'm very confident. Chris Benoit says he was framed. I'm very confident. Very, very confident. Because I part of watching... I mean, look, I wanted to watch tonight to see how Werner did against the Premier League side. And he's done fantastically well. But I was also watching to see, have Spurs got anything to be concerned about in the top 4 race? And I personally think United have had a terrible, terrible season. But Chelsea and Spurs are having bad seasons as well. And it's about who can scrap their way through. Chelsea and Spurs on Saturday... I hope it's a draw. But actually, I wouldn't mind Spurs winning because I think Spurs are going to be more... I think Chelsea might beat Spurs on Saturday. Recommend a young left-back for FIFA career, please, says Matty Conway. Oh, I don't know, because I keep my left-backs because I love Luke Shaw. Oh my God, why didn't he pass there? Why didn't the number 7 pass it out to the right there? Idiot. I mean, I tell you what though, I really would want the English team to win in this situation. I really would, but I've been really impressed by Leipzig, and fair play to them. Fair play to them. They've been the better team and they deserve it. Red Baron, I think Italian teams have the sexiest kits and logos. Do you agree? And if so, why do you think it is? Because most Italians love their fashion. There's a lot of Italian designers. Ralph Lauren, Paul Baker. I'm only joking. Ralph Lauren, Giorgio Armani, Gucci. There's loads of Italian designers of clothes, so that's probably something to do with it. Do you think Liverpool will come back against Atletico Madrid? Eddie Martin, I've been asked this twice tonight already. Yes, I do. Peter2234 says, Mark, your live streams don't go unnoticed. Keep it up. Thanks, Peter. Pump it up. Do you think Liverpool... Yeah, I've read that. Game on, Valencia. It's 4-1. This game is so boring, says Ijon. Ijon, I think, you need to have a look at your life if you're a football fan and you think this is a boring game. I think that the way Spurs are now attacking is interesting. And it just needed Leipzig to go ahead. But I think the way that Leipzig have played the 90 minutes, they've been great. I've really, for an away performance, it's been really, really good. And also, what I have been saying, and maybe I'm going to have to redress this, is that the winner of the Champions League will be an English club. Because I think, and the evidence is there, the Champions League final last year was 2 English clubs. The Europa League final last year was 2 English clubs. And I just feel that at the moment, the Premier League is the best league in the world. Having said that, you can't say that and then say it's one of the worst Premier League seasons we've had. Look at how inconsistent everybody is. Maybe that's not going to be the case. Maybe the Premier League has screwed up because we had the domination of Europe and we've let it go in a year. Maybe there won't be any English clubs winning the European trophies this year. I don't know. But, as good as a season Leipzig are having, you'd expect an English Premier League club to be beating them. Bayern Munich are good, but there's normally a big gap between Bayern Munich and the rest of the German clubs. So, it's interesting. Leipzig are all over Spurs. They totally deserve this lead. And Anthony says Premier League's crap. Well, my prediction was that the final could be Liverpool-Man City in the Champions League and the final could be Arsenal-Man United in the Europa League. And could be wrong. Could be wrong. I mean, in the Europa League, you've got Inter Milan, Ajax. They're 2 good sides in there. Ralph Lauren is American. It sounds Italian. I bet he came. Yeah, but most Americans are Italian or Irish or Mexican. That's most Americans' descendancy is Italian, Irish. That's the whole point of America, isn't it? It's the land of the free. Mark, do you think Chelsea have got history, says Driz16. Chelsea do have a history because my dad supports Chelsea and my family's all from Nottingham. My dad, as a kid, supported Chelsea and they do have a history. I think Chelsea were good. Was it in the early 70s? Peter Osgood? Norman Hunter? That might have been Leeds. Osgood was definitely a Chelsea legend. Offside. Mark, City have legends. Sir Matt played there and they borrowed Dennis Law. Yeah. City haven't got a history before 2008. Spurs need to find a goal in the last 20 minutes. And it's sad that it's taken Spurs going down to actually start attacking. And they've got a free kick here. A yellow card as well. Crappiest ref in the league in Europe. This ref, he's awful. The Ralph Lauren debate continues. Yeah, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Anyway, Ralph Lauren came about from somebody saying, why do Italians have the best kits? And I said, because most top designers of clothes are Italian. Versace, Pucci, Prada, Armani, Vanelli. I'm not reading them off Wikipedia, by the way. I was looking at something else. Valentino, Dolce and Gabbana. There's loads of them. Why don't you support your dad's team? Because I support my mum's team and my granddad's team, which was United. Good save, keeper, good shot from Lamela. Is Ralph Lauren actually still alive? Anyway, let's find out what he's all about, Ralph Lauren. Because I've got some of his shirts. It was a great save onto the post. I think he might still be alive. He's still alive. Good old Ralph. He was born in 1939 and he was born. He's 80 years of age. He was born in the Bronx in New York, the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. His early life was born in the Bronx, New York City, to Jewish immigrants, Frida and Frank. And his name wasn't Loren. He changed it. He's the youngest of 4 siblings. And yeah, so Jewish background for good old Ralph. I don't wear Stone Island, Kenza. I do like Stone Island, but they're ridiculous. Like, their jumpers are... Like, I had a jumper on today, which was Barber, Steve McQueen tribute. Love it. Got it for about 70 quid reduced. Stone Island jumpers are like 320 quid. 320 quid for a jumper. Kiss my arse. Kiss my arse. There's designer and then there's stupidity. I do like Hugo Boss. German. Well, the thing about Hugo Boss is, and I've been told this before, and this is on Wikipedia, so it can't be wrong. Predictions for Wolves in the Europa League, says Finonymous. I don't think anyone really cares. Mark, as you're from Nottingham, you must love Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I love it, even though they had an American Kevin Costner do it. Or he might be Canadian, actually. No, that was Brian. That was the other one, Brian Adams. Spurs on the attack here. Cross coming in. Ball's gone out. Interesting. I do like Hugo Boss. I've got some of their clothes. I've got my gold Boss thing. I've got a couple of jumpers. Now, you might not have known this about them. He's a German fashion designer and businessman. He was an active member of the Nazi Party as early as 1931 and remained loyal to the Nazi German ideology throughout the duration of the party's existence. He died in 1948. He founded the clothing company in 1923. He died of a tooth abscess in 1948. Should have gone to the dentist. I mean, to be fair, the fact that Hugo Boss was a Nazi sympathiser but died in 1948, it was 70 years ago, and I doubt Hugo Boss, the brand today, has Nazi sympathisers working for it, but you know, I've got about 4 Hugo Boss tops, and I'm not a Nazi sympathiser in any way. What brand am I wearing now? Lyle and Scott. Don't tell me they're bloody part of some... No, I'm not even going to say. Celtic would win the Premier League, says Callum Murray. Best aftershave, says Matty Crossingham. I quite like a few, but Sauvage is what I'm wearing at the moment, which sort of went out of fashion because of Johnny Depp, but now everyone realised she was lying, so probably will come back into fashion now. It's quite nice, Sauvage. Is it by Dior? Oh, I like it when people say this. Liam Biarski says, picture this. A week after the season ends, Ollie is sacked, Nagelsmann is hired, and he brings Werner in a few days later. If Carlsberg did transfer windows, he plays great football, attacking away. I don't think United are even interested in Nagelsmann, though. It's not the sort of thing. It's all Spurs at the moment. They've got a goal kick as well. 13 minutes to go. Creed's very expensive, Ijon, aftershave. It is nice, though. You can pay... This is it. You know, I was talking about Stone Island jumpers there being like 300 quid. You can buy aftershave for like 300 quid a bottle as well. If you've got the money, there's prats out there willing to take it. Ranko says the last couple of seasons Spanish clubs have dominated Europe. Ranko, have you been in a coma? Last year? So you're saying the last couple of seasons Spanish clubs have dominated Europe. Last year, Barcelona were 3-0 up going to Anfield and got their arses handed on a plate, and that wasn't even the final. The final was 2 English clubs and the Europa League was 2 English clubs. What are you talking about, Ranko? What year are you in? You're in 2014. It's 2020, mate. Spanish clubs have not dominated Europe for the last 2 years. Max MCC says, imagine this. Man United get Champions League football. You're not imagining, it's reality. Fred Perry's nice. I do like Fred Perry. He used to play tennis. He wasn't a Nazi sympathiser as far as we know. Not every great designer is a Nazi sympathiser. I think that's what I would say. What do you think of the Depp and Amber case, says Sebastian Anderson? Well, I think it's been proven that she stitched him up, isn't it? I've not read too much about it, to be honest, but it looks like, you know, she basically tarnished his name as an abuser, and it looks like it may well have been her. How is your cold, says Sagar Kapoor. Enough is enough. We need Pogba out and a policy that knows players are banned. I can see, irrespective of our management need, we need Rashford, Martial and Sancho up front, and I see hope. My cold's doing alright. Probably spending the last 2 hours talking probably hasn't helped it a hell of a lot, but I'm feeling better in myself. I'm just a bit bunged up. That one, not that one. Nothing's bunging me up there. Not that there's anything wrong with that if that's what you like. I just like things coming out of it, not going in. And talk about... Do I like Lacoste, says Ak Numer. People who know me from watching this channel will know that I used to wear a lot of Lacoste. I haven't bought any Lacoste stuff for a couple of years now, so I've got a few things hanging up, but I don't really wear it that often. Now, Leipzig seem to be happy with the 1-0 here. I actually think they could attack and get a second. The weak spot is always the left-hand side. He's in the box. See, Spurs have found another 2 gears since they've gone 1-0 down. I heard when Corbyn steps down, he's becoming a steward at Arsenal, says Zayn Miassi. It's a shame that it's taken Spurs going behind to start playing football, though, isn't it? Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Bottom right-hand corner. Do you think the Premier League will always be the best league in the world, or do you think another league will become the best? If so, which league? I think Timo Werner's coming off here. The Premier League is the best league in the world, regardless of whether it's winning the Champions League or the Europa League, because it's the most interesting league in the world. I think that the Spanish league will never be as competitive as the Premier League because they don't distribute their money fairly enough. I think the German league will never be as competitive as the Premier League because Bayern Munich have too much power. The same with the French league and PSG. So the only other league that could compete with the Premier League and used to be the best league in the world in the early 90s is Serie A. Now, interestingly, Serie A this year is probably the most exciting title race. Well, it is the most exciting title race. Juventus, Inter Milan and Lazio are ridiculously close. So, and the Italian league, apart from recent years, has got enough teams in it that it could be really competitive. But the problem the Italian league has is the football is a little bit defensive. So the Premier League's got the perfect combination. It's got 6 or 7 teams that are quite competitive at the top, normally, not the last 2 years, and there's a lot of goals in it. So I think the Italian league's the only one that could potentially do it, but I don't think it can. No amount of fame makes you susceptible to human emotion in Johnny Depp's case, says Red Baron. And Say Regara, thanks for the contribution there. 5th in Europa League or 4th in the FA Cup, says Say Regara. You know what? I'd probably take 4th in the FA Cup because 4th, you'd know about it and you're not just going to be panicking about a final at the end of May. We've done that before with Ajax, didn't we? Harry Compton says, when you said Serie A, Mark, my Siri turned on. Siri. I'm going to keep doing it now, Harry. Siri. Siri. Alexa, order me some milk. Has anybody's Alexa just ordered them some milk? Alexa, say, Alexa, play... Sorry, I'll do it again. Alexa, play I'm a Barbie Girl by Aqua. Owen Dilworth says, I've got a new cologne, Sex Tillen. It's the best. Never heard of it. Yonko says, you say the Premier League is the best just because you're English. No, I say it's the best because of facts, mate. It's the richest, it earns the most revenue, it's the most watched, it's got the best entertainment in it. Might not always have the best standard, but it's got the best entertainment in it. They're facts. It's nothing to do with being bloody English. Aurier with the cross. I think this is going to be a win for Leipzig. The amount of people who are saying, stop, my Alexa is reacting. Alexa, play Last Christmas by Wham. This is great. I should have done it before. Alexa, play YMCA by the Village People. Please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Anyone drinking a can of Red Bull, says Trunker007. No, I'm not allowed. It makes me too... I get heart palpitations with all the caffeine. Free kick here for Spurs. Probably about 30 yards out. I think Lamela will hit it. He has got a good free kick on him, Lamela. And again, he's forced to save from the keeper. He does always force a save from the keeper, to be fair, Lamela, which means he's getting it on target, which a lot of people don't. It was going wide. Keeper topped it round. Alexa, please load YouPorn. Imagine if it was actually working. I'm only winding up. Thoughts on Aberdeen, says Narain. I always quite like. I always had a soft spot for Aberdeen. When I used to play Sensible World of Soccer, I would always be at Aberdeen. They used to have a player he was really good on Sensible World of Soccer. Ian Jess. He was really good. That was years ago. You're talking the mid-90s. It worked when you said order something, says Jordan. Mark, I'm sorry, I only talk about United, I know, but I can't help but think that all our glory teams would demolish current status quo. What do you think, Sagar Kapoor? I'll tell you what I think, Sagar Kapoor. Alexa, play Glory, Glory Manchester United by Status Quo. If you're not a Man United fan, that's going to really rip you up. On a serious note, though, Putra says, rest in peace, Tottenham. Jose's done, isn't he? Jose is done out here. Can Spurs get back into this? Well, it's a game of football, isn't it? In Germany in a few weeks' time. But I think Leipzig will be even better in Germany. And I think Mourinho, and I noticed this with Mourinho at Manchester United as well, he doesn't do anything for team morale anymore. He, at Inter Milan and Chelsea, when he was good, he made his team believe anything was possible. At Manchester United and at Spurs, he makes his team have an excuse. And I listened to him this week, and he was talking about, how difficult it's going to be, how they've got no strikers, and it's like the players already have that excuse. And he did it at United as well. And United players didn't respond to him as well because he's so negative. And I think, Sheffield United manager's not there saying I've got a championship squad, they're not going to be good enough, we're going to get relegated. And he's got them all believing. There's a great chance there for Lucas Moura. He heads it over the bar. No, my personal channel's still there, Hassan. Mark Goldbridge. I haven't put anything on it for a bit. Joshua Newman says he's just got in from work. Is the scoreline a fair reflection? Yes. You could even say Leipzig maybe deserved a 2-0 win, but they definitely deserve to win the game. Mourinho will not enjoy being schooled by a 32-year-old goalkeeper. No, he won't. Riley Smith says McTominay or Fred. I don't think McTominay should walk into the United team. I think he's got to wait for his chance. I think, I've never been a great fan of Matic, but at the moment he shouldn't be dropped. Dylan Hannafy wants to be called a prat. What a prat. Mark, we recruited Jose to be an agent for Arsenal and sabotage Spurs, and it's working, says Zayn Miasi. Joe Bound says, how's Werner looking? Well, if he's gone off now, but I think he's a player that's going to do fantastically well if he comes to the Premier League, because he'll suit the Premier League. He's a flair player. He's quick. Leipzig have got a couple of 5 minutes to be added on here. A couple of players walking wounded. I hope it stays 1-0 because at least then Spurs in the second leg have got to try and attack, haven't they? I think when Mourinho doesn't have to attack, it's such a boring game. Yusuf Poulsen's come on for Leipzig, and very useful player to buy on FIFA. Danish international, quick and big. And Forsberg's come on as well. Also Danish. So they've got strength in depth is what I'm trying to say with Leipzig. And Nazif says, I went to the same high school as Ralph Lauren. The school is Do It Clinton High School. I currently go there. I'm 16 and live in the Bronx. How much minutes added on, says Seamus? 5 minutes, and we've had 1 minute. I don't think Timo Werner has gone off, actually. He's Swedish, Yusuf Poulsen. Sorry, no, I thought he's Danish. And Forsberg is Swedish, yes. I'm getting mixed up. Scandinavian countries, you see. I'm being Scandinavianist. Still Spurs on the attack. Harry Winks with a shot. It's on target, but it's an easy save. Werner is still on the pitch. Marco Romero, you well. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. We will have a video going up probably on Friday as a Premier League preview video. I always try and do those. And Saturday lunchtime, Chelsea versus Spurs. Can't wait for that. Massive connotations in the top 4 race. If you're a United fan, if you're an Arsenal fan, can you get back into it? You'll probably be hoping for a draw. Chelsea and Spurs fans, obviously it's going to be relevant to you. Wolves fans, maybe Sheffield United fans, maybe even Leicester fans. You could get pulled into it as well. I think Chelsea are going to win, but you don't know. Maybe Mourinho wants to get knocked out of the Champions League because he thinks his best chance is to have one game a week and focus on the Premier League top 4. I certainly do think, though, if you are in a race for top 4 and you get knocked out of Europe, you've probably got a better chance. And I think Chelsea and Spurs could both be out of Europe quite quickly because Chelsea have got Bayern Munich. Ampadu is hobbling like he's got a poo in his pants. Mark, the reason I want McTominay to get in the United team is because our 2 midfield pivots are both left-footed, so they have to cut all the time to play a pass, which slows us down most of the time. Very good tactical assessment, Chris Joseph. Hello from Sweden, says Michael Hull. Sorry for saying that Forsberg was Danish. Scuffed Mr. Cheese says, every time I go to sleep I have to listen to your videos. Hey, that's given me a reminder actually. Please, please, please go and watch the latest United Stand video. You might think I don't want to watch Bruges versus Manchester United preview, but if you go into that video and check the video description, in the video description is the podcast links, and there's a new podcast up today, which you'll find very funny even if you're not a United fan, because there's a Carragher impression in there and a few other things. So make sure you check out the new podcast. It's only going to be on podcast. It won't be on YouTube or anything like that. So go to the latest United Stand video, or any United Stand videos for that matter. Go in the video description and you'll see the podcast. Or you can get it on our Twitter feed, which is at United Stand MUFC. And I'm going to actually put a tweet out about it. I'm going to do it in a bit. Simbo says Club Brugge are going to beat you tomorrow. They're very good. They are good. I think we're going to win 2-0, but they are good. I'm not underestimating them. They drew in the Bernabeu, didn't they, in the autumn? So they're not a bad side. 6 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be live on the United Stand. If you want to join me for a watch along for that one, you're all welcome. Whether you want United to win or not, you can watch it on there. But subscribe to this channel if you're new. Spurs on the attack late on. And I think that should be about it. And that should be about it for Spurs' Champions League aspirations. I think that a 1-0 win with an away goal will be enough in the second leg. And Mourinho's Spurs will be going out of the Champions League. Very disappointing. They only started playing when they went to 1-0 down. And I think that they deserve what they got, which was a loss for Spurs. That's what they got. That's what they deserved. That's how it's ended up. Thanks everyone for watching. You know, I enjoy doing these watch-alongs. You never know where they're going to take you. Hugo Boss being a Nazi sympathiser, Ralph Lauren not being Italian, being American of Jewish descendancy, and your favourite aftershaves. This is what we do on this channel. So thanks everyone for joining in. It's always been a bit of a laugh, and it will continue to be that. So subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. Check out our content on here, and our next watch-along will be Chelsea versus Spurs on Saturday lunchtime at 12:30. Thanks everybody for watching, and I will speak to you all very soon. Spurs are shite under Jose. Get rid of him ASAP or your club's going down. Still alive, aren't I? Yeah.